The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Going to put their logo in that top right corner so you know where to go if you're ever in the market for a new or used vehicle. You can head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile. I always point the wrong way. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. Make sure to check them out. Once again, if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, we thank them for their constant support since day one of Running Point, and we hope to continue this long journey with them as we continue with Running Point. Today, we have a great episode for you. You're going to have recaps, obviously, of yesterday, baseball and softball. We have some district semifinals set up in baseball, and we'll have more sectional finals tonight in baseball. So after tonight, we're going to have the district set for baseball, and then after tonight, we're going to have the regional set for softball. It's an exciting time. We had district championships last night. We have Champions Crown. We're going to have Champions Crown tonight. It's a big night tonight for YSN, obviously, because we have two districts that are all YSN. So we're guaranteed at least two district champions tonight. And then hopefully we can have a third as Canfield is playing a non-YSN school in Hubbard against Field. But we'll go over all of that later on in the show. We're also going to have our interview section of the show today. It is going to be a pre-recorded interview with Haley Freedy from Canfield, one of the seniors, and a great story because she has persevered through just some confidence and stuff. She wasn't in the starting lineup until this year, at least not consistently, and she got the opportunity, and she is running with it her senior season. She will be playing softball at the next level, so we'll hear her story, how she kind of grinded through some confidence issues the first 3 years, how she was able to get confidence this year and run with it and make the most out of the opportunity to get on the starting lineup this year and be one of the best hitters in the conference, and also be on the all-conference team as the first-year starter as a senior. Really, really great story. Can't wait for you guys to hear that interview. That'll be later on in the show as well. So it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a good day on a Thursday. Can't be more excited than we are today for district championships and sectional championships for baseball. Let's go into the recap from last night. We're going to bring up the NEDAB, which is the Northeast District Database on the OHSAA website, to talk about first the district championships that happened last night. We were in Division 1 and Division 4. We'll talk about Division 1 first as we go into the softball page, and we go into Division 1, and let's see if Anthony remembers which district Fitch was in. I believe it was Northeast 2. Anthony was right. Northeast 2. Austintown Fitch going up against Minter in the district championship game. You can see it on the bracket. Spoiler alert. Austintown Fitch wins this one 2-0. They got a mighty fight out of the Minter pitching staff. And Coach Ward was talking to Ty Bartell after the game. Very impressed with the coaching and the game plan of Minter's defense. They kept Austintown Fitch's offense pretty off balance all game. Just one inning where they were able to score 2 runs. Every other inning for Fitch was scoreless. I would argue also the fact that Fitch just hasn't really played a lot in the last week and a half. Not a lot of live at-bats. that can really make you a little bit rusty. And I think that if Fitch is honest, that probably had a factor too. I mean, yes, they had the sectional final against Lakeside, but that's just not the pitching that they're geared up towards. That's easy to see. So it was really the first time since the Canfield game that is still going on, tied at 3. First time since then they saw quality live pitching, unless they're going up against Sydney in practice, which we've been told multiple times that they just don't do that often to save her arm. So I'm assuming last night was the first real time that they've had a lot of really good live pitching for that lineup since, like I said, since the Canfield game, which is going on. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. So when you go that long without live at bats, there's going to be a little bit of rust, and obviously you mix that with a really good pitching staff that Minter has and a really good coaching game plan for Minter, you're going to get a struggle on offense. But luckily for Fitch, they have this girl named Sydney Watts, and my word, she just put on a show. 20 strikeouts out of 21 outs total recorded in this 7-inning game. That's a record. That's an Austintown Fitch record for strikeouts in a game, and she does it in the district championship. So the biggest stages are made for the biggest players, and Sydney Watts absolutely stepped up for her team and got the victory in the circle. Fitch moves on to the regionals in Division 1, and as we try to look at their opponent, I think we're going to have to go to the regional bracket. I believe they play Berea Mid Park. I don't know if this is going to be on the Northeast District or if this is going to be one that's going to be. Oh, there it is. Berea Mid Park wins the district. They were the 7th seed. I mean, they were the. Sorry, they were. I'm seeing the higher seed on the bottom. They were the 3 seed in their district. They won 4-2. Gotta scroll these brackets, man. 4-3 over Midview, the 7th seed in that district. So pretty exciting 4-3 win for Berea Mid Park, and they will go on to play Austintown Fitch in the regional semifinals. That will be Wednesday, the 24th at 2 o'clock. They're slated to be the first game at YSU, and then the second game is going to be North Canton Hoover against Walsh Jesuit, which should be a heck of a softball game between those two teams, Hoover and Walsh. Walsh got the pounding victory over Maslin Perry, who I think a lot of people would agree that they kind of caught Green on an off night, and Green was a team that was quote-unquote supposed to be in that championship. And I think Walsh kind of proved that when they just blasted Maslin Perry out of the district championship. And then Hoover, they did not blast their opponent. They got a 1-0 victory over Maslin Jackson, in one that I know for a fact they were very, very motivated to beat Maslin Jackson. I was in the student section taking pictures when Hoover beat Hoban. I was right next to their dugout, and I'll tell you one thing: Hoover was not too pleased, and that's putting it kindly, not too pleased that Maslin Jackson was very vocally rooting for Hoban to win that game. So they took that little chip on their shoulder there. They realized that Jackson didn't want them to win. They didn't want to play him, and they went up there and they beat Jackson and Maslin. So congratulations to Hoover. I know a lot of softball fans are probably rooting for a Hoover Fitch regional final to have a rematch of last year's regional championship. But both teams have to take care of business first, as Walsh will play Hoover at 5 at YSU on Wednesday, and Fitch will play Berea Mid Park at 2 o'clock at YSU on Wednesday. We'll go into Division 4. Unfortunately, these two districts did not go YSN's way, as in Northeast 1, we saw Matthews just put on a clinic 11-1 over McDonald. And when you think about this one, I think one of the hallmarks of this game was experience. I mean, going back to even when me and Ty were on this show together every day, one of our main themes was really experience and the role that experience can play in big games like this. And yes, this team on the roster side of things is not that experienced. It's a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, one senior, one junior. But what they do have is experience as a program. Matthews is a program that has now won 3 straight district championships. They've been to state plenty of times as a program. They just know how to win inside that softball room or the softball dugout. So that kind of experience is what I'm talking about this time around. These teams that didn't have the best season, especially on Matthews standard, when they get into the tournament, they are so dangerous because they just know how to win tournament games. Period. They just know how to do it. They've won 3 in a row now, and they knock off McDonald, who was trying to get there first. They got to the championship last year. They lost. They were trying to just break that door down, and I think the pressure of that was felt on different sides. I think Matthews had just a little bit more of a loose mindset, and they played a lot loose, and they were able to just come out and obviously get a big dominating victory, 11-0 over 11-1, over McDonald. Congratulations though to the Blue Devils on a fantastic season. They were fun to watch all year. They're returning so many players, so they should be reloaded next year for another great season. And we can't wait to get them back on the field so we can keep supporting the McDonald Blue Devils as they try once again next year to get past this round and get a district championship for their program. We go into the other end of the Northeast District. It was Western Reserve against Chalker. This one closer, but still did not go in Ysn's favor as Chalker holds off a Western Reserve comeback 5-4. The final score. Chalker knocks off the 1-seeded Western Reserve. And in this one, when you get into a hole early in a tournament game, it can be real hard to climb out of it. Western Reserve almost came out on top, but they were down 4-2. They were down 4-1 early, made it 4-2, and then tried a really furious comeback. But in tournament time, big comebacks are hard to come by because these teams are really good. They're not going to give you runs. They're not going to make those big mistakes. They're usually going to pitch pretty well, and the further you go in the tournament, the more true that gets. So you don't want to put yourself in big holes, especially when you get into district championship. You want to get into regional semifinals. Those are the games where if you get yourself down 3 or 4 or 5 runs, more times than not, you're going to be in a lot of trouble because these teams are good. They're well coached. They're disciplined. They're fine-tuned, and they're probably not going to give up that lead very easily. So Western Reserve fell into that trap. They tried really hard to come back. They almost did, but Chalker had just enough to get through with the 5-4 victory. And Southington Chalker, the team that once again I feel like was under the radar in my scope because they really do struggle in other sports, and I didn't see Chalker coming. But man, they have a really good softball team this year, and they proved it. The 2 seed went right after the 1 seed in the bracket. Didn't want to deal with the 3-seeded McDonald team, so they went right after 1. And they proved that maybe they should have been the 1 seed. Who knows? Chalker gets the win. They'll go on to the regional semifinals in Berea on Wednesday, the 24th. Same thing with Matthews. They will play Berea. They will play in Berea on Wednesday, the 24th. All the regional semifinals for divisions 1 through 4 on the same day at the same times. They'll all be Wednesday, the 24th. At 2 and 5 o'clock at the designated destinations. So for Division 1, you're going to see them at YSU. Division 2, if Canfield wins, they're going to Nordonia High School. If whoever wins Division 3, we have all YSN matchups in both those. They're going to Willig Park in Canton. And then Division 4, we just said going to Berea Mid Park to play their regional. So all those games starting on Wednesday the 24th at 2 and 5 o'clock, and then the championship games for the regionals will be Friday at 5 o'clock at those designated destinations. So going to be a fun time for that. Let's go into baseball because we had baseball tournament last night as well. So we'll switch from the softball page. We'll go up to Northeast Sports and Tournaments and hit baseball up here on the top. And last night, baseball had Divisions 2 and 3, I believe, in action. At least that's what I think. We definitely had Division 3 as we have a district semifinal set as Lakeview gets the win over Cardinal. Final score there, 5-2. Lakeview advancing as the 1 seed into the district semifinals. Who's going to be their opponent? Well, it's going to be the Perry Pirates, who steamroll the 10-seeded Berkshire Badgers by a final score of 10-1. So Perry advances. They will play Lakeview, and that game will be on the 22nd at 4 o'clock. And that'll be at Bob's Team Park at 4 o'clock on the 22nd. We go into the bottom end of this bracket, and it was Kirtland that got the win over Columbiana. Final score there, 6-3. The Hornets proved why they're the 4 seed. I think Columbiana still had a really good game, and I still stand by my statement that I had yesterday that the Clippers were underseeded. I will fight on that hill. Hornets are a good team. They still managed to win, but I think Columbiana was better than an 11 seed and probably deserved better than this draw where they ended up having to play Kirtland in the second round of the playoffs. We will go into the bottom of this semifinal, and it is Garfield getting the win over Cardinal Mooney. Congratulations to the G-Men. That's a tough, hard-fought win over the Cardinals. 4-2, the final score there. I was interested in this game to see which one would come out on top, the scheduling of Mooney or the really good, consistent play of Garfield. And it was the consistency of the G-Men that got them over the hump and got them the win over Mooney. 4-2 final score. So it's going to be Garfield against Kirtland at Scene Park on the 22nd at 6:30. Once again, there's your destination there. 22nd at 6:30. Bob Scene Park, Kirtland versus Garrettsville Garfield. Two teams that are, I believe, I would have to do the geographic math, but they might be closer to each other than they are either one of them to Scene Park. So that, sometimes we see the OHSA deciding to move games like that. But for now, at Bob Scene Park on the 22nd at 6:30. I think both teams would love the travel to play at a place like Bob Scene Park. So I don't see that moving. That usually happens for more of a softball thing when you're just, you're not playing in a pristine stadium. So they're just like, hey, let's just go and play somewhere closer. But I doubt that'll happen in baseball. Let's go into Northeast 2 and see how that shaped up. We have a district semifinal set between South Range, who won 24-0 over East Palestine. They will play Champion, who got the upset over 7th-seeded Jackson Milton. The 12-seed Champion Flashes get the win. Final score there, 7-5, and the Flashes are moving on to play South Range. It was funny because when we had Brett Channel on for a player profile earlier this season, who led the team into that victory with his bat, one of the things he brought up, and I thought it was funny because they hadn't played South Range this year, but he said, like, we're going to be confident when we play the big teams like South Range. So it's funny that he said that because now they are going to play South Range in the district semifinals on the 22nd at 1 o'clock. This game going to be at in Niles. So that one is the Niles district. That's where they'll play at 1 o'clock in the district semis. Champion versus South Range on the 22nd. We go into the bottom of the bracket. It is Crestview. They get upset by United, who I said yesterday, again, they were underseeded just like Columbiana was. United proves it. They're pitching dominant 4-1. United gets the win and the upset over Crestview. That is the 14 beating the 6. So United advances into the district semifinals. Who will they play? Well, they will play LeBray, who walked off Newton Falls to win 2-1 in a thriller. So I told you the Vikings had to be careful. These two teams were going in opposite directions. LeBray on a little bit of a losing streak. Newton Falls was hot as ever, winning 7 of the last 8 coming into this game. And LeBray had to fight just neck and neck all day to get this win. They do it, though. Big players come up in big situations, and LeBray gets the win. They are still alive. They are still the 3 seed. And now they are trying to set up a 2 versus 3 district championship game. That'll come down to South Range and LeBray both taking care of business against teams that upset higher seeds to get into them. So we'll see how that goes on the 22nd between South Range champion LeBray and United. Let's go into Division 2. I believe their district semifinals are set. Canfield last night got the win over Ravenna, 10-0. Final score there, no problem for the Cardinals as they win into the semifinals. Poland was beat by Edgewood 7-6. I'm sorry, I saw that as a 2. Poland beat Edgewood 7-6, and they get into the semifinals. Battle of 224 set up in the district semis. Canfield versus Poland. That game on the 22nd at 4 o'clock between those two. And we will go to the bottom of the bracket. Geneva fell to Ursuline 1-0. Ursuline's pitching good enough to go on the road and get the technically upset victory, 6 beating the 5. And then we go to the last bracket, Field versus Niles, and Mogador. Field gets the win there. The 4 seed advances with a 7-2 victory over Niles. So we'll have Niles versus Ursuline, and we'll have Field versus Ursuline, and then Poland versus Canfield on the 22nd, 4 o'clock. That's going to be at Bobstein Park in Struthers, 4 and 6:30 for those two matchups in the district semifinals. Go into the last Division II district and see how that shook up. Northeast 2 in Division II. And we have Notre Dame Cathedral Latin knocking off the 1-seed Alliance. 1 is gone, as it is that number is so tiny. Is that a 9? Holy smokes. Why is that so? Probably because NDCL has to be so little to fall in the line. I think that's a 9. Guys, I'm blind as a blat. I think it's a 9-1 victory. But either way, NDCL gets the win. Man, that is a tiny, tiny, tiny number. We go back to the next bracket as Marlington is able to beat Madison 10-0. So it'll be Marlington versus NDCL in the 1 semifinal there. We go to the bottom. Hubbard gets the win over Struthers 3-2, and the 7-seed Eagles are advancing. They get the NE8 victory. They go to the district semifinals. Who will they play? Well, they will play West Branch, who got the win over arch rival Salem to win the season series 2-3, 5-1 the final score. West Branch versus Hubbard in the district semifinals. So we'll have one non-YSN semifinal and one all-YSN semifinal. So we are guaranteed still one YSN team in the district championship game. That game going on in Louisville on the 22nd. First game is going to be a 2 between NDCL and Marlington, and then the second game will be at 5 o'clock between Hubbard and West Branch. So there you go. That's what it is. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Canfield senior Haley Freedy. We'll have her pre-recorded interview played for you guys on Running Point. As always, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers.
From sales to financing and even service,
We'll help build your perfect vehicle.
and lock in your trade value.
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing.
Regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
Our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. One of the ways we do that, of course, is interviews with great players and coaches, and we're going to bring you a pre-recorded interview today with Haley Freedy, the senior from Canfield, who just got on the All-AAC team as an outfielder. So here it is. Senior from Canfield, Haley Freedy, on Running Point. As always, it's brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet. Anthony Hartwig here with a Canfield softball player profile. I am joined by one of their 8 wonderful seniors in Haley Freedy. Haley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Senior year, we said it. What's it like to deal with all the emotions and the laughs that senior year can bring? Last home game, last time you play this team, last time you do this, last time you do that. What's that been like to navigate all of it?
It's definitely very emotional. It's sad but exciting at the same time, and I'm just so happy that I can share the moments with all of the girls that I've grown up playing with.
And you get to share these moments with 8 wonderful seniors. What's it like being part of such a big senior class? You know, eight of you, they all have different leadership qualities. What's that like being part of such a big senior group?
Well, it's definitely great because we're all leaders and we all have great chemistry. So whenever, we're behind in a game or anything, we're so great at just picking everybody up because we are so close.
You just had senior night. What was it like to kind of feel those emotions and to realize that like the number of games are kind of starting to dwindle down in your season?
Yeah, we were talking about that and we were saying how it's very sad, but at the same time we know that, we need to make the most of it and cherish all the moments that we have.
You're making the most of it so far this year. You have had a very successful season, especially at the plate. Mm-hmm. What has been working so well for you inside that batter's box, going up against a lot of really good pitching?
I feel like this year I just have a great amount of confidence that I haven't had in years past. And yeah. So.
This year was your first opportunity to be a consistent starter on the varsity level and to really play a major impact on this team. What's that been like for you stepping into that role for the first time and to really, like we said before, have all the confidence and success that you've been having?
I was really excited that this year I could start because I always felt like I was a good batter, but I wasn't really given a chance to show what I could do. So the fact that I can just make it happen this year for my team just makes me so happy. I'm adding to the team. So
you're definitely making the most out of your opportunity. When you were kind of told, maybe in the off season, right before the season started, hey, you're gonna be given that opportunity. You're gonna be in the starting lineup. You're gonna have that chance. What were some of the things that were going through your mind? First game, first couple weeks. What were the emotions like?
Well, I knew that I had to prove myself because, you never are guaranteed a spot. You always have to work the hardest that you can. So this year I was just like, this is my last year. I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to prove myself and keep my spot.
We talked about the leadership on this team. How would you describe your leadership qualities and the things that you bring to this team on the leadership scale?
I hope that I always am showing the underclassmen and also all the seniors that attitude is the most important thing.
Who are some seniors in the past, or maybe leaders, doesn't even have to be seniors, but leaders that you've been able to grow up with that have showed you how to be a leader that you kind of lean on when now it's your turn to be a leader?
Bridget Kelly was always so great at getting chants started, and she would always get the dugout so hyped. So we knew that when she left, all the seniors had a spot to fill with that, and I feel like we've been doing a great job at it so far.
Next year, when we ask one of the leaders that same question and we asked them about what it was like being on a team with you and what kind of things you taught them about being a leader, what would you hope their answer would be?
I hope their answer would be that attitude makes the difference of everything, and that you have to continually work hard at everything that you do, and the small things matter most.
Coach Mike Kernan comes into this program for his first year at Canfield. What's it been like being under him? What has he kind of brought to this team, and how much have you treasured this season with Coach Kernan?
It's been so great. He is such a great fit to be our coach, and I feel like this year it's just been great because he's competitive and he's intense, but he also cares for us and is just so excited to be there, and it's just great to have a great leader, a coach.
And this season has been a whirlwind for you guys, and you haven't lost too much. When did you guys start to realize like this was something really special? You guys were putting together something really good, and maybe that extra motivation that something really good was about to happen.
Yeah, well, when we started making things happen in the plate offensively and defensively, we started just to do great. We knew that this season was going to be special and we were going to make it happen. And all of the talent that is on our team is such a great blessing.
You get to play defense behind one of the best pitchers in not just the area, but the state, in Melena Toth. What's it like to kind of watch her work out there, usually in left field? We saw you at shortstop last night, but usually in left field. What's it like to kind of be behind her and to play defense behind someone that is so good?
Melena is a great and such a humble player, but we always have to make sure that we can't let her do all the work, that we need to be doing our job too and staying focused. So, yeah, just a focused mindset, even when she is pitching and doing so great.
I mean, when she gets into those grooves and she's striking out, 10, 11, 12 batters in a row, is it hard to stay engaged and stay focused?
Yeah, it definitely is.
What are some things that you do, not just in those moments, but also throughout a game, maybe before a game, to get yourself in the right mindset, to get yourself focused and locked in?
I feel like before the coach always gives us a little pep talk, which is nice. And I also get to lead the team in prayer, which is great because I feel like asking for the Lord's strength and just praying about how much we're thankful for all the talent that we have just really gets us ready and the right mindset.
You talked about the confidence you have this year and how much it's raised you. I mean, you just said you get to lead the team in prayer, which means obviously your faith is a big aspect of it. How much do you think has your faith helped you become confident this year as a senior?
Oh, it's definitely all of it. The Lord helps me through everything that I'm doing. He is my strength. And it gives me comfort because I know that it's not me out there that's playing, but it's Him playing through me and helping me in all of the moments when they're hard and when they're easy.
I gotta ask you, usually we don't do time-sensitive questions on these interviews, but man, last night, senior night, you get the inside the park home run. We asked you about it in the post-game interview. Now you've had time to decompress and think about it. What was that moment like for that not just to happen to you, but also happen to you on senior night in that moment, in that crowd, in that atmosphere? What was that like for you?
It was so exciting, and hearing the crowd just when I hit it was just so exciting. And I was rounding second. Coach was telling me to continue to go, and I thought I was going to have to stop at third, but I got to go home, so it was great.
One of the things that I love about this softball team is the family atmosphere it has. I can tell how close you guys are together. What are some things off the field that you guys do to build chemistry and to build team bonding?
We always go out to eat together. We love to go to Chick-fil-A after our games. Or like this morning when our game got canceled, we went to Bob Evans, and we just have a good relationship all around, and we see each other a lot in school. Obviously, we go to the same school, but we have the same classes together, so it's great.
This year, you guys were able to go to Myrtle Beach as well. What did that trip do for not just this team on the softball field, but this team off the field as well?
Yeah, it was so much fun because this year was my first year, all of the seniors' first year, and it was so special, and we did great too, so it was fun.
How was it trying to balance, the fun vacation aspect of going to the beach, but also like the serious, like you had a serious competition on the softball field that you had to focus up for? What was it like balancing those two things?
Yeah, it was definitely hard. In the morning when we had to wake up really early, we're like, ah. But then we were on the field, we just forgot about waking up early and just played, and it was just so exciting and thrilling.
Senior year means we have to look towards your future and things that you're going to do after graduation. I know you're planning on playing college at the next level. Don't want to take that moment away from you. So for those of you people that don't know, why don't you tell them where you're going to be the next 4 years and where you're going to continue your career?
So I'm going to be going to Mount Vernon Nazarene University. It's a small school close to Columbus. It's about 2.5 hours away from here. And I just fell in love with it as soon as I got there. So.
What were some of the things that you fell in love with? What were some of the reasons that you wanted to be there and to continue your, not just your school, academic, but also your athletic career there?
Yeah, so my travel coach told me about the college because I was looking to play somewhere and I wasn't really sure where. And I went there to practice with the team, and the girls right away were so friendly and they were so inclusive. And I just really felt at home, and like those girls could be long lasting relationships for me. And also, the practice was really intense and challenging, and that's what I thrive off of. I loved it. So it just felt like the perfect fit.
When you look at things that you want to use that college for as far as career goals and things that you want to see yourself doing after college and as a job, what path do you want to take?
I would like to be a speech pathologist.
What is it? Is there something about your life experiences that has driven you towards that goal? Is there something that made you interested in that career?
Honestly, not particularly. I just knew that I love to help people, and I feel like language is such an important thing. It's how we communicate. So I felt like it would really add to society.
All right, when talking about this team that you're going to be on next year, you talked about the practices and how hard they were and how much you thrive off of hard practices. Take us through a Canfield practice and how Coach Kernan is able to make it hard and give you that ability to thrive in practice at Canfield like you do, like you're going to do in college.
Yeah, our practices are great. So usually we'll split up. We'll do infield and outfield, and then we'll switch. And he never hits it soft to us. It's always hard, so we're always prepared.
When you think about some of the things that you're going to miss about this softball program after you graduate and some of your favorite memories that you've been able to gather with this softball program, what comes to mind?
I'm definitely going to miss the girls. I'm really sad that I have to leave that team. I've never been on a team that I feel so close with, so that'll definitely be hard.
What are you going to miss the most about just the Canfield school system and being part of this community that you've been a part of for the last 4 years and the people that you get to see not just on the softball field, but in the classroom as well?
Yeah, the Canfield is a smaller school, and I feel like we all know each other. And I don't know, I can't imagine myself not walking through those halls every day, but I know that the next chapter of my life is going to be important.
Last year, this team got to a district championship, went to regionals, fell in regionals. What have you seen from the hunger from the girls that were on that varsity team last year and the drive that they've shown to all of you guys that are, kind of new to the consistent starting in the varsity level to get back to that point and take that next step and hopefully get to Firestone Stadium?
Yeah, this year we knew that we had to work harder than we did before, and we had to be sharper and come in with a totally different mindset of taking one game at a time, and that's what we've done this year, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
When you were talking about picking a college, you talked about your travel coaches, and obviously you've played travel ball over the years as well as at Canfield. What did that do to help you really be confident this year, being able to compete against really good varsity softball players during the summer in the travel ball area?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of different coaches, and they've taught me a lot throughout the years that I've definitely taken with me to play where I am today. So it's just been so helpful learning from different coaches and all of the experiences that I've had with them. It's just really helped me for this year.
When you think of all those different coaches that you've been able to have, what's it been like to be coached by so many different people, so many different philosophies, so many different mindsets?
Yeah, you just take what works best for you, and you're always having a mindset of learning more. I had a great coach, Bob Smith. He taught me a lot of what I do today about bunting and running the bases. He was always really aggressive on the bases, and that's just helped me become a better athlete today.
Let's talk about you a little bit off the field before we let you go. What is your favorite post-game celebration meal after a big win?
Probably ribs.
Ribs? That's a unique answer. I mean, you mean you're going out to a rib house after a big win?
Yes, I am.
Are you a messy ribs or like not that messy?
Oh, I definitely am messy.
Messy, love it. What about inside the dugout? What are some of your favorite dugout snacks to have during a game?
Seeds, obviously. I love seeds. And then we'll have Coach brings us like this huge box of snacks that have like Airheads, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and he always tells us like if you need refills, tell us. So we're always snacking on those. But probably, there's fruit strips. I really love the fruit strips that we have.
Fruit strips. That's good. Okay. Lock it in, Coach Kernan. Got to always bring the fruit strips for Haley. When you think about some of your superstitions that you might have in the softball world, some routines that you might want to stick to every day, do you have any of those?
Usually, the prayer. I always pray before I go out in the field. I always like to have my hair done. Something instead of just putting it in a ponytail, I like to have it braided or something. I don't know, it gets me ready. If I look good, I play good, I feel like.
It's an important question. Who does the hair on the team? Who's the team stylist?
Taylor Morrison always does my hair. And Emma Campbell too. A mixture of both of them.
You gotta have it. Yeah, those are important roles. What about music? What kind of music gets you into that right mindset before a game?
I really like the song Everybody Talks by Neon Trees and Blurred Lines, which is my walk-up song. So songs like those.
How did you pick your walk-up song? I mean, I knew that was probably something that you mulled over for a little bit. What made you decide to use that as a walk-up song?
Honestly, Taylor Morrison had like this big playlist of songs, and I listened to a lot of them, and I was like, this is the one. This pumps me up.
Just knew it as soon as you heard it, right?
Yeah.
What about teachers in Canfield? That's what I want to ask about your education in Canfield. Have there been any teachers in the high school that have kind of impacted your journey and helped you through what I'm sure has been a tough academic 4 years at the high school?
I have this one math teacher, Miss Stouffer. She's always so encouraging, and she really cares about her students and not just getting to the classroom and like learning. She like really gets real with you, and she's just been an inspiration for me.
Also want to ask you about your family and how important they are to you before we let you go. Obviously, everyone has a family and everyone has, things that make them unique. What do you think it is about your family that makes them kind of unique and special to you?
My dad and my mom are both really encouraging, and whenever I start to get down on myself, my dad always tells me to take that attitude and throw it out the door right away and to just never give up. I feel like he's instilled a lot of grit in me, and yeah.
All right, Haley, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to give anyone else in your life or any of your other support system a shout out and let them know what they mean to you. And I'll give you the time to do that now.
Bob Smith was my travel ball coach for a long time, and he's given me the solid skills that I have. Coach Kernan, obviously, I love him as a coach today. My dad and my mom and my grandparents who show up my games every single game.
All right, Haley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck your senior year, and we look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you so much.
Haley Freedy from Canfield joining us a little bit ago. The pre-recorded interview will be found very shortly on our YouTube page and our website. But as always, if you missed a part of it, you'll want to see it in its entirety. But you don't want to wait the extra day or whatever until it goes up on our YouTube. You can always find this episode of Running Point, every episode of Running Point, every episode of Power Hour, every episode of the 440 Sports Show with Sam Torres in the morning. You can find all that on our YouTube page. It's all archived. So you can always go back and watch this episode again and check that interview out in its entirety. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hi. If you want to, can you hit that subscribe button, right there, right down there? It'd be great if you were able to do that. Also, like this video, like all the videos that we have, and comment. That helps our algorithm. That helps YouTube push us into the algorithm. And if you are going to subscribe, then also hit that notification bell so you never miss a minute of the video content that we put up on our YouTube page. We're updating it daily, pretty much, whether it be post-game interviews, player profiles, game highlights, doesn't matter. We're always updating our YouTube page. So make sure you're over there and you're checking that out. Let's go into the previews of today's games, and we're going to bring back up the Northeast district database and go into brackets again. And I want to look at the ones that are happening today, the district championships happening today. Let's go into Division 2. And it is Canfield. Oh, we're still in baseball. Anthony is down. Let's go and switch to softball real quick and go into the softball district championships that are happening today. So we go into softball Division 2. I believe Canfield was Northeast 1. And I was wrong. But while we're here, remind you guys that Marlington is playing against Aurora today. And that game will be in Jefferson. Marlington versus Aurora District Championship in Division 2. Let's go into Northeast 2 and check out the one that is a YSN matchup in the district championship game. Canfield, the 2 seed, they are going to be playing Mogador Field, who barely got by Girard in the semifinals, in the sectional finals, but then was able to also get past Holland 7-3 in the district semifinals. So Field has worked their way here. Canfield, the opposite end of the spectrum, they've kind of run away with both of their games. But Milena Toth, we've talked about her before. She has been on fire this tournament. She has a no-hitter in the sectional semifinals. Only gave up one run in the district semifinals. So, man, she's got something going on, some fire in her eye. She's hungry. Canfield's hungry. They're trying to get their second straight district championship. So they're going to try to do that against Mogador Field, who I think pretty good team, plays a Division I type schedule. They have a win over Louisville, which is a common opponent this year. They also lost to Boardman, so that's an interesting tidbit because Canfield was able to beat Boardman twice this year. Field lost to Boardman. I believe the score of that game was 12-5. Field definitely can give up some runs. You know, they haven't been perfect in the defensive department this tournament run, giving up 5 to Girard and 3 to Howland. So it's not like they're going to come out and shut you down. They're definitely going to be someone that wants to get offense going, and that's going to be tough sledding against Milena Toth. I think as long as Canfield locks down the defense and keeps Field under 3 runs, then this should be smooth sailing for the Cardinals, as they are our last remaining Division II team in softball. It's funny how quick that happens. Like, we started the tournament last week, and here we are on Thursday, and we have a total of 6 teams left. This one, the 4 in Division 4, and then Fitch is all that's left. It dwindles down really quickly. And then after tonight, we're guaranteed to lose 2 more because we have all YSN district championships in Division 3. So by the end of the night, at the most we can have is 4 teams left in softball. Let's go into Division 3. And good news for YSN, though. They would be in 3 different divisions. So still plenty of chances to get into that state championship game for YSN softball teams. Division 3, Northeast 1. This is featuring the rivalry that has been cooking for years inside the NE8. We finally get it in the tournament. South Range versus Poland, round 3. These 2 teams, they respect each other, but I'm telling you, they don't like each other. They want to beat each other bad, especially Poland's into the bracket, because Poland obviously lost to South Range twice this year. And if you're a Bulldog, you don't like that. You don't like that mark of losing to South Range twice in a season. South Range, on the other hand, they're trying to win their we did this yesterday, right? 4th straight. Win their 4th straight. They're in their 4th straight. They've won 3 in a row. So they're trying to win their 4th district championship and their 10th since 2010. So that's 10 in 14 seasons, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, didn't have one in 20, 21, 22, 23, 13 seasons, sorry. So 10 and 13 seasons. That is dang good, and they missed 2 districts in a row in 17 and 18. So you look at that, they got the districts, and they won a championship in 11. I believe they lost it in 12, won it in 13, won it in 14, won it in 15, went to state championship game in 16, were state runner-up in 16, lost districts in 17 and 18, and then got to districts 19, 21, 22, and now 23. So that's the pedigree that South Range softball has, and they don't lose that too often. So trying to go for another district championship is the Raiders, and they will have to go up against a very feisty Poland softball team that had 3 home runs in the district semifinals, 2 for Mary Brandt, 1 for Meredith Trevis. South Range had 2 home runs in their semifinals. So you wonder if the pitching is going to win this or if the power is going to win this, because both teams have displayed really good pitching and really good hitting this tournament. I imagine that Coach DeRose is going to roll with the hot hand. I would be shocked if Stakowicz didn't get to start on one-day break, especially considering that she hasn't given up a run to Poland yet this year. Suzanne was the one that started in the game 2, where Poland was able to make a few adjustments second time through against Sam Suzanne, and I believe score 5 earned runs against her in that game, in the 8-6 victory for South Range and Poland in game 2. But when Stakowicz came from the bullpen, didn't give up a single run, and she shut them out in game 1, 9-0 victory for South Range. So if Poland's going to win, they're going to have to figure out Julie Stakowicz because they haven't been able to do that yet this year. And then I talked about it a little bit. I teased it yesterday with Scotty. Game plan for Poland pitching against this Raiders offense. I think the game plan has to be to mess up their timing. You know, Katie McDonald is so known for her velocity. She throws very hard. I think a big thing that Poland could do is throw off speed early in the count to just, even if it's not for a strike, I don't care. I would want the Raiders hitters to have to think about off speed, and anytime you can make a hitter think and be a little bit unsure, then you can have a step up. I think that's what Poland's going to try to do. We've seen a couple of teams this year have a little bit of success with South Range's offense, but it hasn't been too much, and it's been few and far between. Lakeview actually pitched pretty well against them. That's the last team that really gave the Raiders offense some fits. 4-1, the South Range got the win over Lakeview in the last game. Obviously, Stowe did too. Only allowed the Raiders to score 1 run in the 1-0 victory for South Range over Stowe. So I think Poland's going to look at some of those games and see what those pitchers did to attack the lineup and try to find a way to silence the South Range offense that has scored 17 runs in 2 games against Poland. On South Range's side, talking about game plan here, I don't care if they're going to come with off speed. You have to sit on velocity against Katie McDonald. You can react to off speed, but the batters, they got to be locked in on the velocity. I am always a component of expecting off speed and expecting velocity, reacting to off speed. So if you're locked in and you're ready to go and you're you got that hitch for the off speed, then you can keep your hands back on if you're ready for the velocity, you can keep your hands back on off speed pitches and either foul them off or hit them opposite way. But if you're not locked in on the velocity, then you're not going to have a good day against Katie McDonald. So I wouldn't let any kind of off speed junk get in the heads of the hitters and get them away from trying to fish for, velocity. Katie McDonald has a knack for sometimes missing down the heart of the plate. So you got to watch out for those pitches. But obviously, she likes the outside corner. So if I was South Range's offense, I would be thinking opposite way. If I'm a right-handed hitter, opposite way, go with the pitch on the outside corner and then stay with velocity would be my tidbits of knowledge for South Range hitting. Once again, she will come inside. I'm not saying she doesn't, but I would sit outside, react inside, and I would sit velocity, react off speed against McDonald. So those are my ideas, my game plans for 2 teams that I know pretty dang well. I mean, this is like, for me personally, this is like the matchup you dream of because it's South Range, a softball program that I've watched and enjoyed since I was in high school. I mean, there was a time when I didn't miss a South Range softball game to save my life. And then Poland, obviously, I've been covering for a long time for YSN, and I have made a bond with that Poland team. So this is going to be a fun one. There's really no losers. That's the one thing that's great about YSN. Whoever wins this game, YSN's able to be happy and be proud of the program that comes out on top. And it's 2 really good softball teams, 2 really good softball coaches, 2 really good programs with a lot of history. So you hate that they have to meet in a district. You wish that it could have been a regional or something with a little bit more on the line so both teams could win a district championship, but that's just not how it goes. And someone's going to have to lose tonight. So we're going to see who that someone will be. tonight in South Range. 5 o'clock is the start time for that one. DJ Yoakley and Chris Colucci will have the call. Without further ado, though, let's go into the Division III District Championship in La Brea. A little bit of surprise. I think everyone was kind of locked in on a champion Columbiana District Championship game, but Lakeview came in and said, hold the phone, everybody. Don't forget about us. We beat Stowe 4-1. We were very competitive with South Range. We're a very good softball team, and I honestly think they might have caught Columbiana looking ahead to champion just a little bit. They jumped on Lakeview early, and maybe in the middle of that game, they thought, Lakeview jumped on Columbiana early. So maybe in the middle of that game, Columbiana was thinking, pressure's getting up there. Columbiana came back, they tied the game. Then Lakeview obviously came up in the top of the 8th, got another run. And guess who? No shocker. It was Maggie Pavlansky that hit the go-ahead RBI. That girl is just a pure athlete in every sense of the word. Comes up in big situations, whether you're talking volleyball, basketball, softball. Doesn't matter. She's good at everything she picks up, it seems. And I was not surprised at all that she was the one that got the go-ahead RBI single in the 8th to beat Columbiana. So now Lakeview looks ahead to champion. And what they're going to have to do is find a way not just to get runs against champion, but get base runners. Gabby Gradishar has not allowed a base runner in this tournament yet. Perfect game in the sectional final, perfect game in the district semis. And if she does it again, that would just be like, I would drop the phone, end of discussion, best performance I've seen in the district. I've seen a couple of pitchers throw perfect games in district games, like one. The one I remember a couple of years ago, Bree Kohler pitched a perfect game against Kirtland, I believe, in the district semifinals down in La Brea. But I've never seen someone just go through a district and go perfect game, perfect game, perfect game. So if that somehow happens again tonight, then I would be gobsmacked. Gabby Gradishar could just win everything, give her all the flowers in the world. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to beat her, especially, I'm not saying if she doesn't throw a perfect game, they can't win. But, whatever she does, it seems like she's just hitting all the right notes this year. Offensively, pitching, she's something else. Something else. And Champion's a well-rounded team as well. I think Gradishar gets a lot of the coverage, which is rightfully so, she should. But she wouldn't be nearly as good without a good battery mate, Nanny Warzela. And then you look at Bella Meyer, who's on a big hitting streak right now. She's hitting well. Morgan Davis found some power this season. Ziegler hit a home run in the semifinals. You got a lot of really good hitters in that lineup. Abigail Metters hits really well, plays really good first base, can come into pitch if she needs to. Champion's a good team. One of the benefits I think Lakeview has, which I think they should use this tonight, whether a pitcher is struggling or not, they have multiple pitchers with 15 innings pitched on their staff, and that depth can really mess with an offense. So maybe throw a couple of innings like Bacon, come in with Chadwick, and then come in with a few more innings of Eisenberg. Always keep the offense second guessing. Never let them get used to one pitcher. And Lakeview can confidently do that. I think if I had to pick one advantage that Lakeview has in this matchup, I know you have to kind of dig for one with the favorites that Champion is, but one that I would say is the depth in the circle. I think that can be very important if it's used correctly. And Dave Kelm knows the game. I've been so impressed with him as a coach this year. He's really done a good job with this Lakeview program in his first year as head coach. And he's managed a staff, which, you don't see a lot in softball. I think a lot of softball coaches, even in the college ranks, are still trying to figure out how to manage a pitching staff because they are so used to this sport being one, maybe two arms that you ride until they can't ride you anymore, right? So now all of a sudden, especially if you watch college softball, every team has, 4 or 5 pitchers that they're going to throw. You really got to take that baseball staff mindset into it a little bit and learn how to work a pitching staff. And I think a lot of softball coaches are starting to look a little bit at the baseball way of thinking when they're trying to figure out how do we manage a pitching staff? How do we kind of decide who to throw? How do we look at matchups and who matches up better with who? Because the honest equation is a lot of these coaches, especially the ones that have been coaching in softball for a while, simply aren't used to having 3, 4, 5 pitchers they can all trust in the circle to go out there and pitch in big games. Lakeview has that. Lakeview has, I think, 3 pitchers that they would absolutely trust to be in the circle in this game, and that is Ella Chadwick, and then Bacon, and then Eisenberg. All of them, I think, Coach Kelm would not have any problems putting in the circle today. So that can be an advantage. It absolutely can be. Offense is getting geared up there. Maybe it's Eisenberg who starts, and then all of a sudden, here comes Ella Chadwick. She has a little bit of a different spin. Now you have to get used to a whole other pitcher. And then, okay, you're finally making the adjustments there. Well, here comes Bacon out of the bullpen. She's got a little bit more velocity. So it's like, okay, now I have to gear up towards that. That's an advantage. And that's one of the things that if I was Lakeview's coaching staff, I might use. Even if a pitcher's not struggling, I might say, hey, we're going to throw this girl for 3. We're going to throw this girl for 3. And then if we need another one, we have someone who we can throw in the 7th or extra innings back in the back end of that bullpen. So that's one thing that I think Lakeview will do. Lakeview in this situation, I mean, you have nothing to lose, right? Throw the kitchen sink at champion. You got to. That's going to be a very interesting game in Leavittsburg. Noah Ricks will have the call for you on ysnlive.com. Reminder that all the games today, oh, geez, I went over time. Man, I get lost in softball so easily. This is my sport, so I apologize if people are like, it's 2 o'clock. But come on, it's fun, right? This is the fun time of the year. But all those games tonight can be found on ysnlive.com. Reminder that it is one payment of $9.99 gets you access to all the games tonight. Make sure to go on there. I would suggest getting the tickets early in case you run into any bugs. You can get those fixed before first pitch. So I think our announcers are going to be going on a little bit early just so you can see the stream pop up and make sure it works. 5 o'clock start time at South Range, at LeBray, and at Hubbard. We'll have someone at all 3 venues for a broadcast, and make sure you tune in because it's going to be a fun one. Tomorrow, we're going to be able to talk about all the district championship games. We're going to be talking about the baseball district semifinals that will be set up by today. I think Division 1 and 4 are in action today in baseball, so we'll talk about those. And then obviously we'll preview the weekend a little bit. It's going to be a pretty slow weekend because a lot of these teams are just in tournament time. But we're going to have fun tomorrow on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood